Wife of 25 years cheated multiple times before we married. Story 1. Short version. My wife and I are high school sweethearts, married young 20 and have been married almost 25 years. On our wedding day I knew that she had cheated one time, that's all she'd admitted to. Over the years I kept pressing because I knew in my gut that there were more. At year 10 of our marriage she admitted to having cheated twice before we were married. At year 14 she admitted to cheating 3 times before we were married. At year 20 she admitted to 4 times before we were married, but only kissing. See the pattern? Every now and then I need to talk about it and sometimes asked if she cheated more times. This always sets off an argument and her calling me unforgiving and obsessive. My point was that she never gave me the opportunity to make an informed decision to marry her. Other details: I was a virgin. She told me that she was too, but that was a lie. She did not admit that it was a lie until 2 years into our marriage, when she admitted to having time with all of her boyfriends. Over the years she made me feel bad for having feelings around our story changing. At first it was a first love leading to marriage kind of story. It turned out to be that I was just one of many, while she truly was my first. Recently I have had the need to vent, which is why I'm posting. I gave her an ultimatum to admit everything or we divorce. She responded with no new information. I know that I will never know the truth and I have to be okay with that, but I want her to tell me more, no matter how embarrassing for her. That's the least she can do. Note: she has always minimized her promiscuity as a rebellious period, and that she truly was a good girl who hit a rough period. And we were young. She also mentioned that she was abused into her teens by an uncle. I went off to college and literally shared bathrooms with women and never did anything inappropriate except make cookies with an entryway mate whom I considered a friend. I have always thought that she cheated while I was away, but no hard evidence. I don't think that she has cheated since we have been married, and our marriage has been good other than this issue that has always lingered in the background. Sometimes I write notes to myself to vent. Here is the latest. Sometimes clarity comes in the middle of the night. A few thoughts. Has she told me everything? Likely not, because she refuses to swear to God despite me pointing out that it is exactly what you do when you take an oath. She was giving the old-fashioned religious excuse that she knows is not accurate because anyone who takes an oath swears to God. Last time she refused to swear was because she was not telling the complete truth. Conclusion: there is more that she knows that she is lying about. What then? I know that her mo is to tell partial truth but leave out the time part, which means that. Do I think that she has told me everything? Absolutely not. I honestly think that she cheated probably 2x what she has admitted to. Perhaps she is ashamed, and I can only assume the worst. Early on in our relationship, right after high school, she went to the movies with her sister's ex-boyfriend. She said that she considered him an older brother. I recall her lying about it, but her mother told me about it by mistake. The next day when I came over, the first thing that she said was that they didn't touch each other. What? I think that was her tell. Later she admitted that he wanted to have time with her and asked her for a kiss. She said that she was uncomfortable and told him to take her home. I have to assume that she had time with him. With all of the others she told partial truths, but stopped short of the time part. I'll give examples if anyone is interested. Her manager at Wendy's was a predator and had time with the teenage girls who worked there. I remember her telling me that he tried to kiss her, but she told him that she wasn't that kind of girl. I have to assume that she had time with him. She had time with an adult neighbor for money. Perhaps she would have time to get a raise. I don't expect teenagers to make the best decisions. The problem was that she was acting like we shared the same values. Earlier in our marriage it asked if Shed had time with another neighbor. Initially she said no, but later she admitted to having time with him before we were together. I have always suspected that she had time with him at least once while we were together. He was always using their phone and spent a night a few times. I have to assume she had time with him. She had another uncle, great uncle, who was a creep. He used to give her money and help her out. She admitted that he made her uncomfortable a few times, implying that she owed him something. Perhaps she had time with him, which would have technically been illegal because she was a teenager and he was probably 70. But I could understand why she would be ashamed, and I really do feel sorry that it happened if indeed it did. Finally, She has another cousin closer to our age who used to abuse her. She recently admitted that this cousin helped her pay for her prom dress and also told her that I would never continue to be her boyfriend because I was going off to college. It is likely that she had time with him. Again, I feel sorry that this happened, but all I want is the truth. Part of this is my fault because before she admitted anything. The morning after one of the cheating events, she asked a hypothetical question. What would you do if I had time with someone else? I remember it like yesterday. Keep in mind I was a teenager. I said I would leave you. She said, just like that, huh? Later that day she told me that a guy she hung out with the prior night pressured her to have time, but she did not do it. Rather, she told him to put it away. Of course that was a lie, but an example of how she has almost always told a little truth but left out the time part. Of course she eventually admitted that she had time that night. Same with the others that she eventually admitted to. This is also my fault because I did get angry when she admitted things over the years. Out of anger I called her SUD and WR. I regret that now and have not called her name since before the second admission, which she admitted at year 10 of marriage. So she would rather lie than potentially deal with me calling her names and asking more questions. I will likely never know the full truth. Thanks for listening. If anyone wants other details, please message. I also have a question that I would like a mature woman to answer. Story 2. My wife cheated on me while stationed in Korea, and I'm not sure how to feel months later. First off, some perspective I guess. Me and my wife got married young after an unexpected pregnancy, even had a second child later on. While things were never dreamlike, things were never too bad until her deployment was about 6 months out. To shrink everything down so I don't have to write a novel, things just went south due to some mental health issues that had grown in size that went untreated, creating slowly growing rift. The deployment came and went, presenting us with our own challenges to deal with solo, as the time zone differences were bananas. I crashed at my parents' house for the year with the kiddos to give them some much needed stability, and give me some responsibility. I took some classes at a local community college that year, as I'd been a stay-at-home dad for the past few years, with nothing truly happening since I got out of the military. I got some help for my mental issues, and got on some meds. My life was looking up, I suppose, and I did feel some sense of growth. On the flip side, she got a taste of freedom that had been absent from her life for a while. After she came home, it was wild. The kids were ecstatic, while we were constantly clashing over our newfound senses of self. The lackluster reception my own growth had seemed to garner gnawed at me, while she was finding it hard to reintegrate after being alone for so long. I ended up treating her like one of the kids, trying to do too much for her, while she ended up dismissing me and my help, forgetting she was home and didn't have to do everything alone anymore. After reaching our new home for the next few years and being stuck together during quarantine, things were looking up. Everything was meshing much better, with general moods on the up and up. I still had some lingering uneasiness that I couldn't shake nor put my finger on. After a few months of that building, the bomb finally went off on our anniversary of all things. I finally found out she cheated on me in Korea. At first I was furious, and then we had the chat. Then more chats, and more after that. Eventually, I shifted from anger to understanding. I feel like I should be more upset, and it's been racking my brain. I was in a shoal for 6 months or so before she left, and things were rocky. Korea is a soul-sucking, depressing, black hole of a deployment, with situations like this being a common occurrence. She was lonely, sad, depressed and vulnerable, only ducking some other dude once. Was it my fault? Does she get a free pass? I find it hard to accept her advances as genuine now, and I'm always second-guessing everything. I feel emasculated, diminished, used up. Yesterday's news, a fleeting moment in her timeline. None of this is helping my mental situation, as I don't want to be on my meds anymore. I don't want to feel okay. I just want to slide for a while, and watch life fly by. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1, no WTF. Nobody gets a free ducking pass for cheating on their SO. Editing to add, I don't care how lonely or soul-sucking a place is, she had time to reach out and voice her opinions and feelings. She knew that if she had an urge to be with someone that's not you, she could dip out. Might not be that fast, But better to be honest and get started on that process than to cheat. Not your fault. Redditor 2, there is never a reason to cheat. If things are that bad, you split and try to co-parent as best you can. If something was missing from her life to the point she sought affection with another man, she should have called and ended it. You only got married because she got pregnant. At this point, are you even wanting to be married anymore?